So should we do open houses as landlords and property managers for our rental properties? Well, the answer depends, and I hate that answer, but let me explain. And first I'm going to start with a dirty little secret exposing that in the real estate industry that many of you may not know. So let me back up. So open houses, traditionally the idea comes from real estate sales. The idea is you get a listing, you fix it up, and then you do an open house, and people from the neighborhood drive by, they see it, they walk in, they look at the house, and it helps sell the house. So the dirty little secret is that open houses never sell the house. And if you've been in real estate for any period of time, you know this. And in fact, it's never talked about with clients. It's part of real estate agents' listing package, I guess, or their presentation. We're going to do an open house. We're going to do a broker's open house. Then we're going to do an open house every Saturday and Sunday for the first 3 weeks. And then, you might have heard that if you've hired a real estate agent. But the dirty secret is they never sell the house, and they're not intended to sell the house. The reason agents do open houses is basically two reasons. The first and primary reason is to get buyers. So that's how they find buyers, but not for the house. They find buyers for other houses. So buyers from the neighborhood come look at the house, and then they say, hey, are you, working with an agent? I'm an area expert. And that's kind of how the whole game works. And so that drives revenue for a lot of agents, and that's how they get buyers. The second reason is it just makes the owner feel good. So they want the owner to feel good. Owners feel good when they're hiring an agent to know that, hey, they're at the house, it's open, people are walking in, they're getting interest. And, I get that, it makes you feel good. Okay, cool. But what are the chances of someone driving by, seeing a house, open house, walking in, not having seen the house on Zillow before? Because think about if you're a buyer of a house, right? You're on Zillow. Now I'm talking, it might have been different 20 years ago, right? But today with Zillow, if you're looking for a house, you're on Zillow. People that aren't even looking for houses are on Zillow 3 times a day. I look at Zillow every few days. There's this funny meme about adult, I don't know, voyeurism, is that weird? But with open houses, and millennials always look, or not open houses, but real estate always looking at Zillow and, whatever. So anyway, if you're a buyer for a house, you are looking at Zillow. You know the inventory in the market. You know properties that are coming up. You probably get alerts. So the idea that you're going to drive by and be like, oh, what's this house? And go in and buy it is just so small. So for any people out there watching who maybe have bought a house through an open house, okay, lightning can strike. It obviously has happened before in the history of the world, but it's such a small chance, and we only have 24 hours in a day, right? So the goal of effective people and big A agents, like I talk about, agents that actually know what they're doing, is to deploy their time, energy, and resources in a smart way for maximum effect. So now let's look at rentals, right? Same type of thing. If someone's in the rental market, they are looking at Zillow. They know what's on the market. The idea that a renter is going to drive by not having seen something and be like, oh, what's this? And then get out of their car. And I'm talking about when you set up open house signs, the traditional open house, oh, open house over here. They see it, they walk in. It's just such a small chance that it's generally not worth doing. Now, I say generally because there's a different type of open house that can be beneficial. And I like to call it a group showing. And a group showing is when you have a rental property and you take interest and you take calls and you say, okay, great. Yeah. So let's say today's Monday. Yeah, I'm actually going to be out there Wednesday at 6:00. I'll meet you there. Great. And then you don't tell those people that you're also meeting 6 other people there that are interested in the property, right? So what happens is people all come at the same time. You have the property open. The 6 people or usually it's like couples or it might be a family. So it could be like, 15 people sometimes are there. They all kind of see each other. They realize, oh, this is a lot of interest. It can have a positive effect because it can create kind of like a feeding frenzy sometimes, like, oh, okay, they see each other. And assuming one or two or more people like the place and it's a good value, then it might make them rush to like go fill out an application. The other benefit of a group open house is that it saves you time as the landlord, right? So you can do one, let's say, at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, maybe one at 12 o'clock on Friday during lunch period or whatever, maybe one on the weekend, maybe two or three, as opposed to like always going out and just showing it to one person. Now, the con of group showings are, number one, biggest one is that you have to make people wait to see the property. So, like in my example, it's Monday. You're like, hey, meet me on Wednesday at 6. Meanwhile, that tenant is looking for other properties, and if someone's willing to show it sooner, they're going to go look at other properties, and maybe they won't even show up. When we used to do these, we would get so many people that just don't even show up because oftentimes they find something in the meantime, right? The other con is that it turns some people off. Like some people feel kind of weird about like, oh, I see there's other people here. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with it. And it's not as good of a showing experience, right? You're walking through with like 10 other people. You're focused on trying to picture yourself living there, but you're like walking through with other people. It's kind of hard to focus, and it's just a poorer showing experience. All right, so what do we do at Good Life? So we use self-showing lockboxes, and these are an absolute game changer. We've been doing it for 6 or 7 years, and it's an electronic lockbox that looks like a realtor lockbox. And people have to pass a series of screening questions online, submit their driver's license or government ID, and they get texted a code that works only for a certain period of time, and they can go view the property on their own. When they're done, the system monitors and makes sure they put the key back, lock the key, and then it sends them a feedback request. And this works way better at getting properties rented quicker, especially, in 2024, because people want to see houses on demand. Like I said, if they can't see the place now, they're going to go look at other places. So your open house on Wednesday is going to make you lose some prospects, right? Two is it allows them to walk through the property at their own speed by themselves. It's such a better showing experience. They can walk through with maybe their significant other or family, really take the time to look at the place, maybe even measure some bedrooms, kind of look around the neighborhood versus like a rushed showing with 6 other people, or worse, even with the owner there, kind of looking over their shoulder. Third, it also gets much better feedback. So especially if you're the owner, I don't know if you've ever asked a tenant for feedback, but it's always like, oh yeah, the house is great. Oh no, priced perfectly. Yeah, I think it's great. They don't want to hurt your feelings. Managers sometimes get a little better feedback, but even like they don't want to hurt the manager's feeling. They know they did that. Like they fixed it up. They set the price probably. So the feedback we get from people that view it via the self-showing lockbox, the automated text they get for feedback, people fill it out way more than, and it's more honest feedback than if you were to ask in person. And so they'll tell us like, hey, I think the price is high, or hey, this bedroom smelled, or whatever like the feedback is. And so we can take action on that. We've been doing self-showing lockboxes for 6 or 7 years now, and I can count on one hand the issues we've had of like any property damage or any major issues that came because of it. People are respectful. They put the key back. They know it's being monitored. It's just a great system, and it's 100% something we believe in wholeheartedly and do for all of our properties. Now, some properties don't allow it, like some really controlled condo complexes, won't allow a lockbox of that type or something, in which case we will do self-service showings. Also, if someone just really wants a self-guided showing, we're happy to do that at Good Life. So we will do those things. But what sometimes happens is that a property sits on the market for, a couple weeks, and we say, hey, the market's kind of rejecting the price point. Maybe we'll give a couple other suggestions of things we can do. And an owner might think, well, hey, have you done any open houses? Like, So I hope this sheds a little bit of light on why we generally don't do open houses. I mean, we're Good Life. We want to help owners feel like they can trust us and that we're doing a good job for them. Will we do it sometimes? Yeah, we can do it, but it's just a feel good thing. It's not an effective thing that is gonna rent your property. What we'd rather do, things that are effective, are maybe going to flexible lease terms, maybe being open to pets if we weren't open to pets, maybe doing that property repair or two that you put off or upgrade, seeing that we're getting a lot of feedback that the carpet's older, maybe we replace the carpet or we paint a better color or we upgrade cabinetry or upgrade vanities or light switches. There's so many things we can do to increase the value of the property and make it more attractive. Move-in specials, all sorts of things. And then, usually price reduction. We know that if something doesn't rent generally with the marketing we do, 3D tour photos, Zillow, syndication, all that, and, depending on the market, a couple weeks, sometimes a week to 3 weeks, depending on the situation. We usually know that it's a pricing issue for most properties. There are some exceptions, but I hope this sheds a little light on the open house topic. Let us know what you think about open houses if you have any questions. I'm Steve Welty, CEO of Good Life, here to help make owning rental property easy for you.